Hello, and welcome to No More Homework Battles. I'm Samantha from Learning Success, and I'll be your host for this exciting video series. We understand that homework time can be a battle. We're here to make life easier for you and your child by showing you how to win the homework battle. In this video series, you will hear from a variety of educational professionals and parents alike. Each one will give you a tried and true tip for helping you and your child enjoy homework time once again. In today's video, Brian Galvin. Brian Galvin is the Chief Academic Officer at VARSITY TUTORS. Brian has a master's in education from the University of Michigan and has experience developing and delivering online learning that is engaging and effective for all ages. Considered a leading expert in virtual homeschooling and standardized testing, Brian has helped thousands of students across the country advance in their education outside of the classroom. Let's see what tips Brian will talk about.
We all know homework resistance can be a difficult challenge for everyone in your household. From the student who doesn't want to do it to the parents who need to force them to make him do it. It can be a battle and really trickle down to everyone. Siblings, even pets kind of feel that angst that's in the house. So how can we address homework resistance and make it a more positive experience for kids to learn, for the whole family to have kind of peace in their house? Well, there are a handful of strategies that are proven to work, and so let's talk about those. The first one is rewarding effort. There's a couple things to know about that. One, all the research shows that when students respond to motivation, it's the inputs, things like effort, attendance, completing assignments. Those are the ones that move the needle on achievement versus rewards for things like outputs, grades and grade point average and those kind of things. And the reason is because kids can control their effort. And so just to get them to do their homework, a lot of times there's stress about, am I going to get them all right? Or if this homework is going to be hard, if you just give that verbal affirmation of, hey, you worked really hard tonight, I appreciate that. If you give variable rewards, just every once in a while, if they put in a good week of work, say, hey, I'm taking you out for ice cream. And then when they ask why, it's like, hey, you worked really hard this week and I'm proud of you. Just that positive reinforcement of we reward effort in this family is really helpful. It just means that kids see that the effort's rewarded, that what they're putting in is not going unnoticed, and ultimately people respond to incentives. And so if they see that through praise, through making a favorite dinner, going out for ice cream, or a favorite movie or something like that is the reward for, hey, if I put in the effort and I do what I'm supposed to do, people take notice and my life is better, then they're more likely to do it. So often homework resistance is met with negative reinforcement of punishments and a little bit of yelling or nagging. The positive side of that, when kids do get with the program, can be really beneficial. Another one, we all remember those times when, whether it was we were grounded or we had homework to do, and you can hear out the window kids playing outside, or you see your brother playing on his iPad or your sister playing video games, and you're the kid who's stuck doing the homework. That's a bad feeling. That's that FOMO, that fear of missing out, that, hey, why am I the only one stuck doing this? And so, if your family has a policy or kind of a program of, hey, between these hours, everyone does something quiet. Mom and dad, or whether they're cleaning up or finishing up a couple errands or reading a book, and everyone is doing something quiet and productive, then the kid doing homework doesn't feel singled out and sort of like, woe is me, I'm the only one with this plight. It's like, hey, everyone's doing this. And when we're done in an hour, we all celebrate. We have dessert together. We play a game together. They kind of see that, hey, this is part of your job and everyone's in it together. And that can be really helpful. Another one that's challenging is sometimes homework resistance is pretty justified, right? There are teachers who give too much homework or who don't adequately explain the homework or kind of dumping extra work on kids they're not ready for. Resist the temptation to talk about that either to your spouse or on the phone with friends or even to your kid. Don't let your kid hear that you're disappointed in the teacher or you're frustrated with the teacher, because that becomes easy justification for, hey, my dad doesn't think this homework is worthwhile. My dad doesn't think this teacher is doing a good job. So therefore, that's a license for me to say, I don't want to do it. And even if that's not cognitive and fully conscious, just in that subconscious, that kind of thought that, my teacher isn't the expert, my teacher doesn't know best, is sort of that little bit of justification for, so I'm not going to do it. And so the less your kid sees you being disappointed in or undermining a teacher, the more likely they are to see it as kind of, it's a valid assignment, it's what I have to do, and so I'll do it. And then finally, recognize that one of my favorite quotes came from a school psychologist at an assembly when I was a kid. You can learn a lot more from a few seconds of pain than a few hours of glory. And sort of, the lesson was about consequences, that, sometimes kids need to struggle. Sometimes a kid, if you tell them and force them to study and they're always getting A's and B's, the one time you say, okay, you don't want to do it, fine, take that test tomorrow and we'll see what happens. If they come back with a C or a D, that stings. That's the consequences of their own actions, and they're likely to learn from that. And so recognize, you don't have to win every battle. If you can see, hey, if this project doesn't get done, you're going to get a bad grade, that can be a very powerful motivator for kids. One thing they don't tell us, and with good reason, when we're younger is, no one cares about your elementary or middle school grades. Like, no college will ever look and say, well, but you got a C in life science in 7th grade. And so those formative years are kind of useful for, if you've got a kid who's has that kind of internal pride and integrity and they want to do well and they haven't failed yet because you've been pushing them. Every once in a while, kind of letting them make the decision and then see the consequences of their own actions can be more powerful than anything else. It's sort of, then you're not the bad guy. The report card's the bad guy, the test is the bad guy, and ultimately the kid has to take that responsibility for him or herself. And so, let kids fail every now and then. You don't have to win that battle because the reinforcement is coming from the test itself. So, homework resistance is a challenge. As we go back to school, it will always be there, but there are some strategies that can help with it that really help kids develop a growth mindset with rewarding effort, that help them learn from consequences, that help make it a more positive experience for the entire family.
Thank you, Brian. This is what children need: realistic advice about the consequences they take. This video has been part of our No More Homework Battles series. We've created this because so many parents struggle with homework battles. Please make sure to share the video, and please use the hashtag NMHB, No More Homework Battles, so we can find you on social media. If you'd like to be a part of this initiative and share your story or expertise on the subject of No More Homework Battles, you can get in touch with us by using the contact form at www.learningsuccesssystem.com and put No More Homework Battles in the subject line. Thanks for watching and sharing. In case no one has told you yet today, you are an amazing parent. I appreciate you for showing up and doing the work it takes to embrace your child's brilliance and unleash their true potential.